Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to The Last Ego on Earth. This is A Course in the Car, Episode 2. It is so wonderful to be speaking to you guys this evening for me. Wow, what an amazing journey this has been. Right now, as we're speaking, it's been about 3.5 weeks since I got enough courage to come forward and start speaking to you guys, and the world has just opened up. There were so many years there that I was doing the course. I've been doing my course for 10 years now. This is my 10th year on the course. My wife and I have been students around the exact same time, and slowly we have gained more and more understanding of what it all means. Early on, I remember sometimes being a little frustrated with the course. Of course, it's one of those things where the course is it is a little bit hard to grasp. But over time, working together, Jamie and I have learned to really use it in the way it asks us to apply it by forgiving everything. Arguments we have, I think Jamie's probably the only person on the planet, except maybe sometimes the kids that get a little bit frustrated. But we both take the brunt of each other's anger sometimes, and it's not horrible. It's just we'll get in little tiffs, and a lot of times it doesn't really mean anything. Even while we're in an argument, we recognize that it's not who we really are. I'll be saying something to her or getting argumentative over something that's so small and insignificant, but it seems so big. It's like inside you feel it boiling, like, you left my paintbrush out and it dried up, and it's like the worst thing in the entire world, and you feel like, I can't believe you're doing this all the time. Those kind of argumentative just getting so upset about them, and they're so small. You can always get another paintbrush, but there's always the little voice inside that calmly looks at the situation and goes, "What are you doing?" And when you recognize that voice, that's the voice of the Holy Spirit, and it's a lot quieter. It's the one that is the witness to the upset. Once you recognize that, that's the miracle. That is the time to start handing that over to Holy Spirit or Jesus. You can just hand it right over. Say, "Holy Spirit, Jesus, please take this away from me." And it is done. At that point, they will take it away from you. Now, that does mean sometimes the larger upsets, the Course does say there aren't all upsets are upsets. There are no big or small, but they perceive, it's perceived to us that one's bigger or a worse situation than another. So when we are letting go of something that seems really big, like let's say abusive father, and I know that's a sticky situation for a lot of people, and there's a lot of emotion, and I'm not being non-compassionate about those feelings. They can be very, very real. But when you need to uncover that out of your thought system to heal yourself, you need to hand it over, and it might take a while for us to take that pain out of us. So Holy Spirit is there in the waiting, slowly, taking that away. But it's up to us to give that pain over. A lot of times people get so addicted to pain that they want to keep it. They feel like that's our norm. Like that's our normal to feel these pains because they've been with us so long. That's all we know. So we feel like that's who we are, and somewhere the ego has even made us feel guilty about that. Quite possibly there's been the ego trick where someone has treated us bad in the past, and then we start playing that out in our world, or in a new world where quite possibly the anger that was happening to us when we were young is starting being displayed, where we have anger towards, say, our children or our people around us. So it just continues. The ego's thought system just continues and changes and ebbs and flows into something new that starts causing even more upset within inside of our mind. And then we just stuff it down. We stuff it down into our subconscious, and that starts showing the world dark. It gets a little bit darker and a little bit darker. We get a little darker. You might start feeling a little lethargic. Maybe sickness comes more and more often. It's because we're not meant to be upset. Have upsets in our world. We are perfect light and love. We're not meant to have darkness in our life. So that's the purpose of the atonement, which in the Course it says Jesus is the head of the atonement. And of course the Holy Spirit is the Spirit that's reaching back. It's an extension of God that's reaching back into time to help us wake up out of this nightmarish dream of sickness and hate and guilt. And it's so beautiful. Soon as the tiny mad idea happened that we could be separate from God, the atonement was set in place by God to wake us up. And we've been asleep this entire time. And it's time for us to wake up, especially if we're in pain. And when, earlier on when I was first learning the Course, I was so riddled with fear that I didn't have an idea of how to get out of this problem. It seemed like anywhere I would try to look outside myself and ask for some sort of help, no one had the answer. No one could answer what I was feeling. They had their opinions of how they might have handled some certain situations, but some situations cannot be handled by someone else, of course, or never can be, because they haven't experienced the experiences that you perceive you have. So it's very frustrating, and I think that's, earlier on when I didn't have the tools that I do now, that was the ego's trick, is to kind of keep you in a limbo state where you just kind of stuffed it away because there was no answers for you. So you have to surrender your old thought systems to come to a new conclusion and ask for another or a different way. I know that's how the Course was written, and it's true. You have to say there must be a different way than this ego thought system of hate and judgment and anger and all the horrible things you see in the world, abuse, just things that are just not of love. And you have your ups and downs through life. I remember having wonderfully beautiful experiences while growing up, and then something really dark would happen, and it would just shake the entire my entire life. And it was like, what is going on? Why is it not just always good? And a lot of people say that's just how life is. But even when you read in the Bible and things like that, like Jesus saying that heaven's all around you just can't see it. That's because we have our ego thought system that gets in the way of love and starts basing everything on the past, and it gets you very scared of the future. And all there is the beautiful present, the now, that we have the chance to let the past go, so that the future is just open-ended, and Holy Spirit will just take us right in the direction that we need to go, as long as we're willing to ask. Well, guys, I don't want to make this too long, and I cannot wait to have more conversations with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this Course in the Car episode 2, and I do want to thank all the people that have been showering me with love. It's just been amazing. And I do want to welcome you guys to join my Facebook group. It's called The Last Ego on Earth, A Conversation Through the Course in Miracles, or Through a Course in Miracles. So if you guys want to look that up on Facebook and join, that would be wonderful. And I would love to see you there and continue the conversation. You guys have a wonderful time wherever you are. Remember to ask Holy Spirit to be in charge of your day. Peace be with you. And guys, I will see you on the other side. Bye-bye, guys. I'll see you for episode 3 coming up soon. Bye-bye.
Prepare yourself from the birth to the dirt. Prepare yourself for all it's worth. Prepare yourself from the birth to the dirt. Prepare yourself, the last ego on earth. Prepare yourself from the dirt to the birth. Prepare yourself from the birth to the dirt. The last ego on earth.